I know this may sound like blasphemy.
No.
But numerous times watching Excalibur again this time, I was so reminded of Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Oh, of course.
And I actually burst out laughing several times. You're just waiting for them to go, run away! And even when they're attacking the castle with the big wooden scaffolding, I go, oh, it looks just like the rabbit from Holy Grail.
Mm-hmm. When they're especially when they're trying to beat it down to get the king and to get Uther into the castle after a grain, it just looks like go away or I shall fart in your general direction. It's just. Welcome to season 4 of Talking Pondo. Talking Pondo is a podcast where Clif and Marty give each other a film to watch and talk about them in detail. Some episodes will include a special guest.
Gross Point Blank will not be seen this week, so we may bring you regular Point Blank, now with fewer calories.
Regular Point Blank?
Mm-hmm, it's just regular Point Blank today.
Okay. Not Diet Point Blank?
No, it's a different movie.
Not Point Blank Zero?
No.
Okay. Regular Point Blank.
It's just regular. You would think it'd have more calories because of the natural cane sugar, but
But actually, no, you're right.
It's the Lee Marvin that takes the calories off.
Well, they say if you can be net Lee Marvin, which means you have more Lee Marvin than you have grams of sugar.
See,
you're net Lee Marvin. Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
We're back once again. It's another episode of Talking Pondo. 131 episodes.
Holy crap, dude!
Crazy. We just keep going.
That's a lot. Who did we sucker onto the show this week, Marty? Yeah, it's you and me.
The guest. Well, today's guests from their previous appearances on this show, as well as our film, The Love Song of William H. Shaw. It's Jessica Stone and Geoffrey Notkin.
Woo!
Hello, gang.
Yes, so excited.
What a team.
Jeff, that is a super beautiful pop filter and microphone you're rocking there. You've been going to other people's podcasts, not telling us what's going on over there.
Well, I try to take the tech media stuff seriously, and every now and then I get invited on a really fantastic podcast like this one. Mm-hmm. And I thought it'd probably be better than using my old landline headset.
Does make a difference.
On one side, yeah.
It does make a difference.
It does. Well, it's exciting to have this team together again. I know Jessica and I have both been on the show several times, but not at the same time.
Right.
That's right. I'm really excited about this one.
What movies brought these two together today, Clif?
Today we're talking perfect segue. Today we're talking Boorman, and in particular about Boorman, we are talking Point Blank from 1967, I believe, and Excalibur from 1981.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about this.
You might have heard us mention Excalibur back on our Batman episode, because I mentioned it was the opening of Batman versus Superman, where a young Bruce Wayne just left a screening of Excalibur, and then his parents get killed to start the origin of Batman. So
That's right. I'd forgotten all about that.
I guess, who was that, Snyder? Is that his movie? I guess he must be a big Excalibur fan to throw that in there.
Snyder, that makes sense.
Yes, he is.
That makes sense. Yeah,
I just read that.
Oh, we got some listener mail. It's kind of backed up a little bit here.
Sweet.
So we'll go
what? Backed up? What?
I know. It's
okay.
We're blowing up, man. We're blowing up.
Look at us.
Okay, so we reviewed Scream 7 a few weeks ago, and we got a response from Ray Daniel, also known as the Call Me Crazy Show from Public Access.
What up, Ray?
And he says Scream 7 is awful. He elaborated to me that he didn't care for the AI storyline, as well as it seems like these repetitive sequels just to make cash. I loved the film, so there you go. They're all different. But
I feel like you loved it.
Understand why,
But a lot of what you loved was like seeing the old characters, singing Sydney back, kind of like bringing the old band back together type of thing. And I get that. But my problem, I elucidated.
You got to sit through the rest of the movie.
Yeah, you got to sit through the rest of the movie, exactly.
Well, then we also had some response about the Primevals in DC Cab. That was a little ways back here. Let's see. We had a Bouncing Bobby Lapierre from Film Thread on that episode. And we had Dylan Schlender writes in and says, "Love that BBL." And then
Brazilian butt lift.
That's what it stands for. And Ben Hassler says Primevals is going on the watch list, so we're inspiring people to sit through some of these films.
Jeff, Jessica, have you seen The Primevals?
Nay.
It's a movie that was started back in the 90s. It's a stop motion film about a group of explorers that find a lost world inside of like an ice cavern far down under the earth, where they find these lizard men that are running a secret society, and the lizard men are all stop motion, and it's magnificent. But apparently it took 30 or 40 years to finish. The guy who was making it died and kept running out of money and finding money to finish it. But it's literally some of the best stop motion I think I've ever seen. I mean, it's Clash of the Titans or better level.
Yeah, harken back to that. If you like that Harryhausen stuff, this feels like a lost film from that
very
era.
much so.
Yeah.
Very
marvelous.
much so. Like it escaped. It's like Indiana Jones meets Harryhausen is what I feel like. Yeah. But anyway,
I was just going to say, it's not having seen it. It sounds to me like Journey to the Center of the Earth meets Gumby.
That's it. That's it. For not having seen it, that's a pretty spot on aesthetic right there.
Thanks. I produce every now and then. Hey, are we supposed to introduce ourselves? I mean, say who we are. Did we forget that bit? Do we not do that anymore?
I introduced you, but you can say who's the voice, the person behind the voice.
Sure.
Kind of meant just a little bit our background. That not only have we been lucky enough to be on the podcast several times, but we've been lucky enough to make movies with you.
That's right.
So I am Jeff Notkin. I'm one of Clif and Marty's, I don't know, what would you call it, unofficial production partners. So their production company, together with mine and our friend Eric Schumacher's, made Revenge of Zoe and Love Song of William H. Shaw. Mm-hmm. And we're old friends and pals. And I'm a former television host, perhaps best known for the kooky adventure series known as Meteorite Men.
Mm-hmm.
And
I normally go friend first and then producer second when I introduce you.
Yeah, I probably should have done that. Sorry. I'm just overexcited about today's episode.
Totally fine. Just kidding. And Jessica,
well, also, actually, could I just say that isn't it obvious that already that we're friends because of our banter? Maybe that's why I just skipped over that bit. It seems like a given.
I guess for longtime listeners, people are like, Jeff, we know who you are.
Yeah,
but I agree. If this is a first episode catch, we should probably explain who you are. You're absolutely right. And Jessica, explain yourself.
Well,
10 words or less.
So yeah, I met you guys actually at the premiere of Revenge of Zoe, and you guys kind of adopted me, and
basically.
And when you were making William H. Shaw, I volunteered to participate in any way I could, and I ended up being able to have a bit part in the movie. I got to help with the background. I helped with scenes and settings and costumes and art stuff. Yeah, just whatever was needed. I basically told you guys, I want to be your dog's body. Just let me do whatever. I'll go fetch water. I'll do whatever needs to be done. So
General Dog's Body.
Yeah, General Dog's Body.
You were in everything. Yeah, you did it. I mean, you're in photos of everything. It's like Jeff. It's like when Jeff was in the first movie, he was in photos of everything. At one point, he's putting makeup on Frenzy, and another point, he's pointing at rocks and trying to find me the right rock to have a water out of, and another point he's dressing a set, and another point he's doing this.
Who is this guy?
But my house was actually used for one of the sets, and
your friend's house,
and my friend's house, and her wheel, her pottery wheel.
God, we inconvenienced the both of you for multiple days.
It was fantastic. I loved it.
We really did adopt
every minute of it.
We put you on screen in a saucy costume. We took over your house. We took over your friend's house. We put you to work doing art and design and costumes and finding us a potter's wheel.
That's right.
Good grief.
And actually, Jeff helped me out a little bit too. And well, I don't know. Maybe I helped you out. It was kind of mutual. Like I created that little meteorite treasure chest for the cover of one of your books.
That's right. The cover of my meteorite hunting book.
Yeah. And he also got me into a magazine. Do you want to tell them about Ad Astra magazine by the National Space Society? I did a jewelry ad
She was a model.
I was a model for a day.
She was a model in a beautiful fake leopard skin ladies coat that I bought and wore when I did a New York Dolls tribute show in full costume.
Why does that sound familiar?
Congress
you've seen that coat. You've seen that coat.
Somebody bought a costume and then put Jessica in it. Why does that sound familiar?
Oh yeah.
Why is that hasn't been done more than once? Anyways.
You have to go back to the episode of
I was going to say, folks, that sounds weird. Hang on, that sounds weird. Let me explain. We bought a costume, go back an episode to the one that she's on, and we'll explain. But basically, in the short term, we bought a costume in Vegas. Jeff and I were shopping, found a costume. It's an old Vegas showgirl costume. Not that racy, but showgirl costume. And we gave it to her.
It's pretty racy.
She fixed it and put it on, and she looked great in it, and she wore it for the film. But anyway, so yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
You guys have given me some of the best times of my life. Absolutely.
That's great. Well, you've been instrumental in what we've in these films and getting them done. And I know Jeff, especially that last one, you guys were an awesome team. I mean, literally, we're shooting in one house and they're across the street dressing another one. Right? Like, I mean, how and then it's like, all right, where's the next scene? It's literally 40 feet across the street. Everybody pick your shit up and let's go. And then there you go. You know, I mean, that's what it was. It was so much fun.
It was
so much fun. Anyway, all right, that's
welcome to indie filmmaking right there. That's all you need to know about indie filmmaking.
Marty, what do you got? Any other fan mail?
There is one more piece of mail. This is on our How to Murder Your Wife and Save the Tiger episode.
Oh, I love that movie.
The one with Daniel Roebuck, and that's been a pretty popular episode too.
Yeah, 1,000 views or more, yeah.
And so other popular guest writes in, Frank Dietz, and says, I saw Jack Lemmon on Broadway twice. In tribute with Robert Picardo and Catherine Hicks. Gee, doesn't that sound familiar, right?
Geez.
And Long Day's Journey into Night with Peter Gallagher and Kevin Spacey. I got to play Ensign Pulver on stage in Mr. Roberts, and it was so hard not to imitate Jack's Oscar-winning performance.
Wow.
We'll be seeing Frank again on one of the spooky episodes, most likely, coming up.
Yeah, we had him on for Breakheart Pass, and he was such a great guest.
An Anatomy of a Murderer.
That's a great movie.
Oh, so good. If you haven't seen Save the Tiger.
Oh, that's so good, too.
My God, that is 5-star type of acting. It's Lemmon. He just sets himself on fire from the first frame and just burns throughout the picture.
And that was Talking Lemmon, and today it's Talking Boorman, another one of two movies by the same person, and let's see the odd similarities. But
so I think we should probably go point blank first because we've got like at least 2 to 3 to 4 Excalibur nerds on this podcast.
It's hard to let somebody decide when it's two guests. You know.
Yeah, but I think we just kind of do point blank, get it out of the way, and then dive into the warm bath that is Excalibur.
Because that's why we're really here.
You wanted to just on Excalibur, and we're like, well, we got to pair something with.
Got to pair something, yeah.
So, I did say that, didn't I? I said, well, if you had Jessica and me on at the same time, you'd have 2 guests, so we'd only have to do 1 film. But that logic didn't fly with you gents.
No, but let's stick with the film.
Totally agree. I think we should do point blank first. That really makes sense. I think maybe we have more to talk about in Excalibur.
Oh, I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Anyway, so let me go ahead and get this out of the way.
So what is this movie that I watched the whole thing and thought some of these people seem very familiar to me, and then I get to the end credits and I go, Sid Haig was in this fucking movie? What is not gross point blank, but regular point blank?
Regular point blank. Just point. It's not regular point blank. It's just point blank. Here we go. Point blank, 1967. Approved. 1 hour, 32 minutes. Here's your log line. After being double-crossed and left for dead, a mysterious man named Walker single-mindedly tries to retrieve the money that was stolen from him. This is directed by John Boorman, written by Alexander Jacobs, David Newhouse, Rafe Newhouse, starring Lee Marvin and Angie Dickinson. Here's your storyline. Let's see. Mel Reese is in a real bind, owning a good deal of money to his organized crime bosses, and gets his friend Walker to join him in a heist. It goes off without a hitch, but when Reese realizes that the take isn't as large as he had hoped for, he kills Walker, or so he thinks. Sometime later, Walker decides it's time to get his share of the money and start his wife Ooh, sorry about that. That's weird. 1, 2, 3. Sometime later, Walker decides it's time to get his share of the money and starts with his ex-wife, Lynn, who took up with Reese after the shooting. That leads him on a trail to his wife's sister, Chris, to Reese himself, then on to Big Stegman, then Frederick Carter, then up the line of gangsters in an effort to get money from people who simply won't acknowledge that they owe him anything at all.
It's like Taken.
So right away, I don't know if you guys know this, but this is a full-on... Mel Gibson redid this movie in 1999 called Payback, a total remake of this. Almost beat for beat.
I was going to say Taken, but that had Liam Neeson, but he's in the other movie.
No, Taken's a hostage movie.
But I know,
this
but
like
there is the I'm going to get
revenge.
my shit no matter what. Up the ladder of the video game big bosses.
And this has been done type of film has been done many times, like the Limey. They did it with what's the dude from who played Bernie and Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. I can't remember the older gentleman.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about, but I don't remember his name.
Yeah, people are screaming at their phones right now. But...
Yeah, why is it so and so?
But this is probably an early example of this type of movie, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. But it's definitely been done over and over again. That slow burn kind of revenge. The Limey is definitely one of them. There's one with Michael Caine called Get Carter. It's English. Yeah. It does this exact same thing, and so this is not a new type of film or subject matter or type of movie, right?
But the way it's shot is different than those. Yeah,
that's what I love about it. I don't think it's breaking any new ground other than it is fucking gorgeous. I think it's fucking beautiful. I love its blues. I love its greens. I love the fact that he used such a big, wide fucking format and stuck the actors in the first third of the frame close up and let all that fucking behind them go on. Like, I love Boorman's choices in the film, and I love the way the film fucking looks. I don't necessarily like the way it's told.
It's very 60s, but it does have that little bit of a leaning towards some 70s filmmaking in it. But yeah, it's totally drenched in its 60s. Watching today's movies, it made Zardoz make so much more sense to me. I'm like, this is totally the same guy.
Please explain to us.
Well, there's the frog, first to start.
I haven't seen Zardoz yet, and I've never really had the nerve to watch it because, Sean Connery just looks so wrong.
Another piece of the Boorman puzzle. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I realized it's like, oh my gosh, he did all of these movies, and the only one that I had really seen was Excalibur.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting to be introduced to other things.
Yeah. He's a powerhouse. And not only did he make a lot of movies, but he made them his way.
Yeah.
And he did a lot of the writing, and especially in Excalibur, he was involved with locations and casting and so much. And it's interesting that the last time I was on this podcast, we were also talking about John Boorman films. We did Hope and Glory, which is, as you will remember, film. My all-time favorite film in the history of the universe. And I'm an enormous Boorman fan. I think he's a masterful filmmaker, and a lot of his films are very puzzling, including this one, which was only his second feature. And it's as if it's funny that his first film is that silly one about the Dave Clark Five. That's a bit like, I don't know, a bit like Help, the Beatles film.
Right.
So it goes from that to this. I was going to say complicated. If you describe the story in a nutshell,
it's really simple.
Yeah, and as you said, it's such a similar high concept to many other films. Gangster or criminal with a conscience gets double crossed, money stolen, goes on a vengeance quest. There's your 2-line synopsis.
There it is.
But then you start watching, and it's very confusing and mysterious, and a lot of strange things happen. And Cliff, it's interesting that you mentioned the color of the film. There's a very interesting interview with Jim Jarmusch. This is one of his favorite films, and had not noticed this until he pointed it out. But up until the moment when Walker drops his dead wife's bottles of perfume in the tub, there's hardly any color in the film. It's very noirish, as if he's intentionally doing an homage.
I completely agree. I love that you brought that up because 3 minutes. One of my notes is 3 minutes in, and I love the look of this film. It's gorgeous. The greens and the blacks of the prison, they feel like an echo of Excalibur. They feel like what he's working, this weird green tinge that's throughout Excalibur, which we'll get to later. The power of the sword, the power of the land, the power of Arthur,
too,
expressed in this green sort of tinge and this hue, shows up throughout this film. You know, and his blues are so gorgeous. I don't know what the fuck he did color-wise to this film, but I love it. It does feel so noir, Jeff. It feels very neo-noir.
I had a sense that he was kind of using color for mood and statements.
Very much.
It was very, like, that's definitely something that I noticed. I really loved the opening.
Oh, that whole
shots,
sequence.
The sequence of just the different camera shots.
So unique.
Weird, strange, unique. And I was like, and it was like, okay, this almost feels like, you know, beginning filmmaker really like playing around and doing the things, figuring it out. But
Boorman's Darkman.
Yeah, but I didn't like the movie much. I thought it was, I loved certain aspects of the filmography, like you're talking about. The way it's shot is beautiful. But I was like, I didn't like the characters. I didn't like any of the characters.
They're not likable people.
And I was like, why do I care about this story? Like, it was, for me, I wasn't compelled by that, but I watched it, and you know, and at the end I was like, well, that was a movie that I saw. But
I mean, if you've ever had $93,000 stolen from you, you might have an interest in this film. But, yeah.
I think the thing that bothered, like, I'd probably, you know, I think it's a guy's movie. I really think that this is
for sure.
This is such a guy's movie. And I'm fine with that. I mean, there's other movies that I've seen that I thought this is a guy's movie and I still dug it. Like, the
aesthetic on this is weird. Like, do you know when he and Angie Dickinson finally have their romantic moment? Like, that scene before is one of the oddest, like, courtship type of lead up. Like, the 60s had this really weird male aesthetic where it was very kind of okay to be very smacky of women, and it was like, I smacked her, and now she's ready to go.
She smacks the shit out of him. That's one of my favorite parts of the movie, where he's just standing there.
I love the fact that he stands there. He's like, there's nothing you can do that's going to hurt me. Like, smack away.
Yeah. I have a note here about this. I'm so glad you brought this up. So first of all, she's really pounding on him. They're not hunting.
She lets go on him. And I imagine right before action, he said, Angie, there's nothing you can do. Go ahead. And she was like, all right.
You asked for it. And he's a big guy, and you can see the force of impact when she's hitting him over and over again. And you know what it reminds me of? What it reminds me of is Revenge of Zoe, when our dear Eric Schumacher hit Nate Campbell in the face so many times, slapped him in the face, because we had to keep redoing the scene.
Slap back.
And you guys, you rascals, put together a little blooper reel of that, didn't you? All the slaps.
I at one point he looks at the camera and goes, I said, smack him again, Eric. And he smacks him, and then Nate looks at the camera and goes, at some point you're not kidding. And I looked at Eric and said, go ahead and smack him again. So
I remember it well.
Yeah,
Jessica, I have a comment. I have a comment for you. Something to think about. So the very first time I saw this film, which was many years ago, I think I had a similar reaction to yours. But there's an intelligence at work here, and like most of Boorman's films, or perhaps all of them, the surface story is not really the story. There are other things going on, and it makes you think. So the central question in this film is Walker dead? Is he a ghost? Is this a dream? Or is this really a narrative? Because he's shot at the beginning of the movie multiple times and left for dead in the cell in Alcatraz. And then there's that extremely bizarre scene where he's thrashing around in the water in the bay, in the San Francisco Bay, while in the background there's a tour guide on a ship on a boat, talking about all the people who tried to escape from Alcatraz and died of exposure in the cold water. So it's almost like that's his, like, is that his spirit going into the water after he's been shot? What the heck is going on there?
Explains the ending too. Yeah, where he doesn't take the money, he just trips
Yeah, and he
away
just
because maybe he
that's
wasn't there.
Okay, that gives
Fascinating.
me
That's
another
a fascinating
angle.
take. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
I
Well,
might have to watch it again just to.
Yeah,
I might
that's a
watch it
fascinating take.
again.
it's worth watching again from a
Yeah.
clinical point of view.
Mhm.
I'm not following the story. I'm trying
Right.
to. What is the message here? What else is going on? And it's really
Yeah.
a lot.
Oh.
And go on.
Yeah.
The one thing that I think that bothered me even more than the smackiness, the
Yeah, that's just kind of part of the milieu, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's a certain point where it's not fun to watch, but at the same time, it's kind of.
I understand it's from the era and
Right,
it's the way it was. and it's
right.
just- but so I was reading, I read a little bit about, like some of the comments about the film, and someone talked about how Walker is stoic. And I was like, okay, I'm not getting stoic out of this. What I'm seeing is like Vogue strike a pose ennui affected. Like he's just like literally he's sitting there like this, and the woman is talking and looking in it. They're talking in different directions. He doesn't even talk. He doesn't even move. He fucking doesn't even move. He just sits there. And like to your point, Jeff, maybe it's because he's a ghost.
Right.
I mean, that makes. But I was just like, this feels like such a like high school film someone making a high school film and trying to be affected, and it was like it just the ennui. I was just like, ennui is not a good flavor for a revenge film.
Do you remember The Love Witch, Marty, and how we talked about how they intentionally went back to a presentational style of acting? I think Lee Marvin's acting is a little older school, and so it reads a little differently to a modern kind of viewer, maybe.
Yeah,
and
I think that's what's going on. I think
maybe that's what's going on there. Yeah,
but I think
because I hear what you're saying, but I do think he's stoic, but I think maybe his type of delivery of that style is maybe possibly throwing you.
It reminded me of like kind of like maybe it's what I'm thinking of is like spoofs of that style later on in more modern times where they're being affected and it's done for comedy, and that's the only thing I've ever really seen.
You felt his acting was a little too affected or
affected, yeah. And it really, to me, it wasn't stoic, it was ennui. I really got like that. That's why I was talking about like it's not Vogue, but these perfume ads and ads in like fashion magazines where everything is just out of
Lee Marvin is a gorgeous man. Why wouldn't he pose and preen? But no. Like that hallway scene where he's walking and it's just the clack of shoes.
I love that. Okay, I love that.
It almost like thinking about Jeff's take on it though, it almost feels like him moving through purgatory or moving through almost a refusal to sort of die or a refusal to go to the next plane and saying like, fuck you, I'll just walk through this long fucking hallway, come out the other end and begin to affect my revenge rather than take the end. Right. I love that hallway scene now even more. And that hallway scene is iconic.
It is. It's a really important scene in the film, and I'm going to refer back to this later. But I don't want to spoil this other part of the discussion. So what is going on in that scene? The very loud footsteps. Okay, so his name's Walker. He's walking down the corridor. We get that.
Shit, Jesus. Not together till just now. God damn it. I'm stupid.
Walker's walking.
Oh, fuck, I'm dumb. I'm so dumb. I got to stop.
But there's more.
I didn't put that together at all. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. And this is going to address Jessica's point. I have to respectfully disagree with you, Jessica. So the loud clacking of his feet the sound is then superimposed over scenes that follow it. What is that? Is that his heart ticking? Is it telling us that he's alive? Is it his sense of purpose? He's pounding down that corridor. Nothing's going to stop Walker from exacting revenge. I think it's a time bomb. That's my take on it.
I think it's the talk. I think much like you, I think it's the egg timer going the opposite way. Like you got so much time left, Walker.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, yeah, I took it more as he's a time bomb and he knows he's going to explode. Well, he's going to take everybody down. I maybe seeing too much into it.
I thought it was a fun gimmick for you hear him walking and he's walking for like a minute. His name's Walker. And I'm like, Walker's walking. And then all of a sudden he bursts through the front door and grabs his ex. I'm like, oh, that was just him walking up to the steps. I thought it was a fun device. It made me laugh when he burst in. I'm like, that's what he was doing. He was walking to the front door.
It's so fucking stylish of a movie. Like I love how pretty it is. I love how stylish it is. It has that 60s aesthetic. It has that 60s feel. It has that style. But yet you can, like you said, you can see Boorman kind of working his shit out on film where he's like, I like doing this. I want to see if I can try this. And, but one of my complaints, by the way, and I'll drag this into Excalibur, is going to be, this seems to be shot on a big format. I want to say probably 2:3:3, something like that to 1. It seems like it's a scope, and then he goes and shoots fucking Excalibur in what looks like 16:9.
Yeah, it's a
what the fuck are you doing?
But, I watched it large and it works. Because I was thinking, why isn't this scope? But it's like because I think you wanted that top and bottom of the
point blank. It's so grandiose in its scale, especially again when you put Marvin in that 1/3 on the first if you put Marvin in focus close up on that first third of the frame on the right, and you got all that background behind him and shit going on, it's so powerful. Yeah. And then I watch Excalibur, I'm like, I would have loved to have seen him do this.
And then Hope and Glory is like a 1.66 or something, so he liked to do different ratios.
He liked to fuck around with it.
This is the first movie with John Vernon in it. That was kind of surprising because it's introducing John Vernon. It's like, we've seen him in so many things since then. It's like even as a young man, he still looked the same.
Yeah, that's true.
I was quite shocked when he flew over the balcony there. It was like,
that was quite well done, actually, that effect, I thought, for the time, the body falling and hitting the road. Because they always cut before the body hits the road, but not this time.
Yeah. And it's approved still. It has nudity, it has dead bodies and naked butts, and it's approved. Because it's the 60s.
It's the 60s. Let me ask you this. So my only real, honestly, problem with the movie, my only part where I'm like, nope, is that... And a lot of movies did this back in the 60s and the early 70s where they would take a music scene and sort of draw the music into a frenetic state while they're doing a killing or a beating or all that.
Is a bit much.
I don't need to hear that fucking song ever again. And I don't need to, that was the one part where I was just like, this is so dated in the 60s.
But yet,
and
the scene itself without the sound, you go, where would Skyfall be without this? Right?
Yes. Yeah, very much. It very much. And there does feel like a little bit of James Bond in here at times. Just a little bit of the sinister era of James Bond. But I just remember watching that scene and going, I'd rather listen to ABBA and The Martian all fucking day than listen to that fucking guy scream, yeah, while that killing's going on.
For me also the scene where we meet Reese, where it's just so frantic, like why is he freaking out in this crowd and it's like it's
he grabs him and takes him to the down and you're gonna help me out.
You almost think he's gonna kiss him or something because it's like it's just so intimate, but it's in the middle of these people.
You're tapping into something there, Jessica, which I
feel like that's very British to me. That's like a bunch of people getting drunk and then somebody runs up and grabs you and takes you to the floor and goes, fucking, you're gonna help me. We're all drunk.
It was really confusing.
I think it's because, and having watched a handful of Boorman's movies now, he has a reoccurring theme of thruples. It's the one woman and two guys.
Oh, yeah.
It happened in this movie. It happened in Excalibur. I don't think it happened in Zardoz because that one's completely wacky. But even in Hope and Glory, it almost happens. But then they decide, no, hubby's out there fighting the war. Let's not cheat on him. And so he's got this little thing in his movie with this reoccurring theme. And you go, wouldn't they just be happier if they did kiss? Maybe Arthur and Lancelot want to hook up too. I think everybody would have been a lot happier if they would have had a threesome.
Or is it just cheating? Is it thruples or is it just cheating?
No, it was thruples.
And it's a couple.
Well, I don't feel like Lancelot and Arthur and Guinevere are a thruple.
Well, they could have been. They would have been a lot happier, probably.
Because
all right, we'll get there.
They loved each other. Arthur loved both of them deeply, and they both loved him deeply, and then they loved each other deeply.
Wrong film.
And it's all
The wrong film. Stop. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. Yes. Jesus. Anyway,
I haven't addressed Jessica's point yet. I haven't addressed
Okay.
Jessica's point yet.
He's going to
Sorry.
defend
Yes,
this
go
film
ahead.
to the fucking death. Go ahead.
This is by no means my favorite Boorman film. I find it rather fascinating. Yeah, and
It's a good one. It's
as I said before, I think there's a lot going on behind the scenes. So to me, Lee Marvin, Walker's stoicism is the point. He's like a big statue that's going through this world. And okay, it's a Los Angeles crime thing, but it's really a classic Western. This is it's like The Searchers. Lee Marvin is John Wayne. He's got this purpose and he is not going to diverge from it. Whether people try to kill him, shoot him, he falls in the bay, he gets beaten up by his dead sister's wife, and it's everybody around him dies. He either kills them himself or something happens to them. And so it makes fun of, I think, well, maybe not makes fun, but is maybe a commentary or an exaggeration of the revenge type film. But the thing I love about this film, there's one thing to me that really stands out, and that is it's almost like a Kafka thing. There's nobody in charge. I mean, he's going through, it's almost like John Wick film.
That's true.
He's just killing these people off one by one. He just wants his money. And every time he kills somebody or threatens somebody, they go, well, it's not me. You've got to talk to Baxter. And he keeps going up the chain, and it's a corporation. I think it's really funny because we think, oh, okay, crime movie. It's going to be drugs and guns and piles of cash, but there is no cash. All of these people are very well dressed, and they just go, well, I can't write you a check, or, we're a corporation. Where do you think the money's going to come from? Exactly. I find that really funny. That
I did appreciate that. I liked the movie more as it progressed. It was just, for me, the off-putting part was, the beginning was just off-putting for me, and the sex scenes or whatever were.
I swear to fuck, I'm going to bring you both back on. I'm going to make you watch Payback from 1999, and we're going to talk about it.
Okay.
Because anytime.
It's the same fucking movie. It's but the only difference is you dive a little more into the guy who stole from Lee Marvin, John Vernon's character. John Vernon's in Payback from the 1999 film. John Vernon's a complete pervert. Like, he's into some really like he likes to be dominated, and Lucy Liu is his dominatrix, and he calls her up, and she comes up to his penthouse in the Syndicate's hotel room and like beats the shit out of him, and he loves it, But it's still the same fucking movie. It's the Syndicate. They both go on a heist. He shoots Mel Gibson, takes the money, pays the Syndicate. Now he works for the Syndicate because the Syndicate, accepted his money. And here comes Mel Gibson working his way up the Syndicate, up the ladder, trying to get to the top guy. It's the same. It's fucking insane how it's just the same movie. It's weird.
As we said earlier, it's a very common theme, but I love the spin that
I do too.
The story puts on it. And I know it's based on a hard-boiled detective novel, but I'm sure that Boorman exaggerated that faceless corporation, and they all seem like quite nice guys. Really, they're very well dressed, and they're quite polite.
The sniper is the classy dude who was the head of the SWAT team on Hill Street Blues. What's his name?
James B. Sicking.
James B. Sicking, yeah.
He's actually a favorite actor of mine, and he was in Star
Trek. Seems like a very nice guy. Yeah, he's the captain. Yeah.
That's right.
He's the captain who can't get the Enterprise out. Yeah,
with the little cane,
sir.
Yeah,
yes.
And Scotty can't stand him.
So great. That's so good.
Then the scene when he gets to Carol O'Connor, I mean, that's just hilarious. He thinks he's at the top of the chain now, and he bursts into the house, and Carol O'Connor goes, "You're a very bad man." It's like that's a film scene. He's just lecturing him, but like a dad, not like a gangster. Like, why are you? What is all this violence? You can't behave like that. And meanwhile, this guy is one of the top people in the Syndicate. I also found that hilarious.
Yeah,
I really like Carol O'Connor anyway.
When it was Archie Bunker, I was just like, this is fucking awesome. Perfect. Perfect casting. Of course it's Archie Bunker. Why wouldn't it be?
But it ended up really being Keenan Wynn, who was there the whole time. Yeah. Yeah,
it's a twist. It's a surprise ending, right? It's a surprise ending. Because when we meet Keenan Wynn on the boat, when he first arrives, we just think he's a cop. We think he's a cop who wants to legally take down the Syndicate, and that's why he's making a deal with Walker. And Do you say at the beginning of every episode that they're spoilers, or is that just a given?
Oh, it's all spoilers.
Okay, it's all spoilers. I guess
yeah.
you can't really examine a film without talking about the ending.
Recommend you watch
but the first time you see it, it's a real surprise when you find out that Keenan Wynn is Baxter. I mean, that's a good one. That's really comes out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so, since we're at that scene, what the heck is going on? They bring him the money. Everybody's dead.
And
except Baxter. Hiding. I mean, everybody that he comes into contact with. It also reminds me of James Bond in one of the modern ones when M is chastising Bond for his enormous body count, for all the dead bodies that he's left behind him, which also happens in this film, but in kind of, I mean, I don't know, I was going to say in a light way. It's not a light way, but it's just kind of a throwaway. Oh, he's just killed another person. Now he's going on to the next one, going up to the next level in the corporation. So now So what I want your analysis on this. So why doesn't he take the money at the end? What do you think? What do you think is going on there?
I think it's either, like you said, he's either a ghost, or maybe my first impulse was, it's like, if I keep chasing this money, I'm going to be stuck in this. Maybe it's just better to just walk away from the whole thing. I don't know.
Maybe he just realizes that it wasn't about the money.
It wasn't. It wasn't really about the money. It was about being shot by the guy who brought him into the job and his wife who betrayed him, and that whole thing, and chasing it down and getting to a point where he felt like he had exacted his pound of flesh, right?
Yeah.
Like, not really about the money. Like, the money's the purpose. It's not the ultimate goal.
Agreed.
Right?
It's the quest. It's the journey. It's the mission. It's the vengeance. That's why, for me, the stoicism works so well. He's like a killing robot. He's going through the film. I mean, he's going through these levels of this corporation, trying to find the person responsible, and he claims that it's all about the money. And so that is again, perhaps supports the view that he's a ghost, or it's a dream, or another interpretation is that he doesn't actually die at the beginning, but he's spiritually dead and emotionally dead, and all that's left for him is revenge. So when he gets to the end and he's killed everybody, then he goes, I agree with that. Money doesn't really important. I mean, of course, I would take the money regardless, but okay, now this is going to be a shocker. You're going to have a hard time with this, but I'm dying to talk about this.
Okay,
what else was made in 1967 that we love?
What else was made in 1967?
A lot of
stuff. It's a tough question. Yeah, a lot of things.
I also want to point out that in 1967, $93,000 is worth $1 million.
Oh, good point. Yeah,
it's definitely something worth killing over, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's quite funny today when it's like I don't know. It's like the Austin Powers joke, $1 million. Then they all just laugh at him. That does seem like. I mean, I'd love to have $93,000, but it seems like a relatively small sum to kill almost everybody in this corporation over.
Right.
Okay, so something else.
A lot of shit. The producers?
No, it's too difficult to question.
Oh, well, fine. Well, then why would you ask that?
Just for fun. It's like a rhetorical question. The
right.
other thing that was made in 1967 that really reminds me of this is The Prisoner. Patrick McGoohan in The Prisoner.
Yeah.
And Point Blank reminds me constantly of The Prisoner, and here's why. First of all, as Cliff, as you said earlier on, that very lush 1960s look. It's very bright. It's very colorful. Next up, the scene we already talked about. I said I was coming back to it. The footstep scene, opening of The Prisoner. Same thing happens. McGoohan is clumping down that corridor, and he's going in to see his boss, played by George Markstein, to tell him he's resigned. But it's that same clump, 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 clump. But what really makes it for me is they're the same kind of character. They are both in a situation where they're an individual, is one person against everybody else, and you never find out who's in charge. So Walker just eliminates the people standing in his way by killing them. And in The Prisoner, number 6, McGowan's character, wears the number 2s down. He either outsmarts them or he destroys them or drives them crazy. So he's victorious at the end of most episodes. And then what happens? Another number 2 comes in the next episode, and he tries to break number 6. So I know it's not the same plot, but to me, there's a similar big concept there, that you've got this single-minded individual, Lee Marvin, Patrick McGowan, not going to stop until this is over. And it's a little different because McGowan, they're always asking McGowan, why did you resign? Why did you resign? And he's always going, who is number 1? Who is number 1? So that drive of this very strong, steadfast individual, it really rings true. I mean, it rings similar to me, along with the visual similarities, because they were made in the same year.
Yeah. Like a Terminator. He will not
stop.
Yeah.
No, you're right. That. Yeah. Although McGowan is very non-violent, so he's an intellectual. He's using psychological warfare against number 2s, the other number 2 people in the village. But what Walker's just using full-on regular warfare against the corporation.
So, the whole identity thing. What's my last name? Well, what's my first name?
I love that bit.
Kind of, who is number 1?
Oh, you're right. You're right. That is one of the best bits of dialogue in the film. That's really clever.
And I love the way that's presented, and also for me, it just occurred to me, and this movie has kind of stuck with me in certain scenes. I've thought about them in retrospect, but talking about the fact that he didn't take the money and the way that it ends in darkness, he just backs into the darkness. It's like, who is Walker without the revenge?
Yeah,
I was just going to come back to that, because
who is Walker without an objective or without a thing to focus on? Yeah.
It's the same in the
way at that point.
Yeah.
Sorry to step on you. It's the same in The Prisoner, because The Prisoner has this super bizarre, surrealistic ending that no one's ever been able to explain, and so it's as if once the strife is over, there's nothing left. So after number 6 has essentially destroyed the village, what does he do? What does he do on Monday morning? He's got no one to fight against, and neither does Walker. They've eliminated the competition.
Yep.
Well, if I ever get to time travel back to when I was like 10, I'll be sure to remind young me to ask Lee Marvin about Point Blank, and he'd probably be like, "Kid, you're 10 years old. How do you know that movie?"
That's very good. And if I understand correctly, this was something of a passion project for Lee Marvin, that he was the engine behind this film, and that he hired Boorman. I think they were already friends, but it was the first time they worked together. They worked together again in Hell in the Pacific, as I'm sure you know. But here's another little interesting thing I'd like to point out. You probably know this, but for people maybe not familiar with Lee Marvin's work, he was a real big deal at that time. So he'd just done The Dirty Dozen, immediately before Point Blank, same year, and just a couple of years earlier, Cat Ballou, where he was just such a funny
one of the first movies I ever rented.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So he's a powerful actor. He's got star power. I imagine he's very well liked by fans, and this is what he chooses to do for his project. And he chooses a director who's only made one feature film, and that being kind of a kooky music comedy. So I find that very interesting and unusual. Just that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the movie Bad Day at Black Rock?
Oh gosh, yes, I love that.
We talked about that a few months ago.
We talked about that one on Lee Marvin. That was so good.
Well, and there's another film with the strange character who has an absolutely single-minded purpose and is not going to stop until he finishes his duty as a soldier. And he's also he was wounded in the war and he's lost a hand.
Mm-hmm.
And despite that, nobody is going to stand in his way. And he's the opposite of Lee Marvin. He's a relatively slight character. So that was a very that was a really good parallel there to bring that up.
I have a couple of pieces of interesting trivia about this movie, if you guys are interested.
Oh, good. Yes, please.
So James B. Sicking, we mentioned him. He auditioned for the role of the assassin, and Boorman was like, "You look at your face. You look like a nice guy. You're not a killer." And Sicking was like, "Fuck you!" And so he hid outside of the bushes, outside of Boorman's office for a week, just staring at the fucking windows. And Boorman was like, "All right, fine. You look menacing. Go ahead." And gave
that's
him the
fantastic.
role. So yeah, I thought so too. So first movie to be shot at Alcatraz, which I thought was very, very interesting. And then finally, his widow asked Boorman for the shoes that Marvin wore during the famous walking scene. That scene we're talking about with the echoing of the shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When he died, his widow was like, "Can we get those shoes that he wore for that scene in Point Blank?" And he was buried with them.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Oh, that's wild. That's a really good bit of trivia.
So I think you're right, Jeff. I think that movie meant quite a bit to him.
Yeah, he had some interest in it beyond just being the star. There was something that really moved him about this story, evidently, and it was the big break. Well, I don't know, break is not the right word, but it was the big opportunity for Boorman. And I alluded to this earlier, but it's as if Boorman just put his stamp on at the beginning, and he goes, "I'm going to make strange movies, so you better be prepared."
All right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Jessica, you made a very interesting point as well, that some of it seems almost amateurish at the beginning. Like the opening title credits, I find so odd that they use those still photographs, and then there's a bit of motion, and then there's a still photograph. And I thought my streaming service had stalled. I forgot about that.
That's
I forgot about
fucking
that.
60s for you.
Yeah.
And then I realized it was like, okay, so I haven't watched a really old movie like this in a while, from the 60s, and it's a different era. It's a different type of filmmaking. Acting was different. So even though I'm like sitting here going, this is a little hard for me to adjust to, but I also was able to recognize, okay, it's just because it's so different from modern films, and I've been watching so much modern filmography.
Say no Lord of the Rings, that's for sure. I'll tell you that much. God damn it.
That's a lot of walking.
Well, it was also like there was a lot of, it was very frantic and then very still and very jarring and very,
it's definitely different. I mean, it's 60 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 60 years old. That's a long ways removed for a movie. And I think for 60, damn, it holds up. I think it holds up.
I'll watch it again. I will give it some time, and I will watch it again, and I will pay,
It'll probably feel different, I bet, because this was my first time too.
Yeah. Well, we spent way more time on this movie than I figured we would. Like, holy crap. What do you think score-wise?
Well,
Jeff,
I still have a few things to say.
No, come on. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Not much. This movie reminded me of Hopscotch.
Oh, yes, I can definitely see that.
Because Walter Matthau's always a step ahead of him, and they can't catch him, and he's screwing up everything. He's not.
I can see him sneaking through the building, being like that.
He's going through everything.
Okay. Sure.
Also,
even though Hopscotch is kind of a comedy. I mean, there's some funny scenes.
It's for comedy,
in it,
sure.
But,
Totally.
But you're right. You're right. That's a good call, Marty.
We just watched The Long Walk, and I realized Walker would have easily won The Long Walk.
Come on, man. Come on.
And also, so there's not very many movies where Johnny Mandel does the music, and we keep popping them into the show. And because all roads lead back to Ted Knight, the guy who made the music for this movie, Johnny Mandel, he not only did the MASH theme, but he did the theme for one of my favorite dumb sitcoms of the 80s, Too Close for Comfort, starring Ted Knight. I don't know why, but that's just how it is. And also, there's an unofficial sequel to this movie, Escape from Alcatraz.
Oh, well done.
They mentioned that.
Well done.
Like, that's the one where it was Clint Eastwood. He was one of those guys with the spoons.
Patrick McGowan. Patrick McGowan is the warden. I told you there's a connection between the prisoner and this. Wow. I didn't even realize that until just now. Well done, Marty.
That's hilarious.
Okay, now I'm done with that.
Fantastic.
Well, then what do you give it, Marty?
3.5. I liked it quite a bit. Might like it even more as time goes on. So
I agree. I think it's stylish as hell. I could see you totally giving it that. Jessica, hit us with it.
Well, You've actually
and don't be pressured. Don't be pressured. Give it the score that you think it should give.
I've been thinking about it, and I was waffling between a 1.5 and a 2, but I think I'm going to give it a 2, with the potential of a 2.5, maybe. Because even after I watched it, and I was like, well, that was a movie. It did. I kept thinking about it, like there's stuff there was stuff that was interesting and it stuck with me, and I realized that maybe it was just jarring because it's just, it was designed to be jarring, and and I also kind of remembered vaguely, because it had been a long time since I've watched Excalibur, and it made me think. I kind of remember franticness being in Excalibur too, but not. And after watching it not to the same degree as the franticness in this movie.
He got better at it as he went along.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But I hear what you're saying.
But the colors
totally
and the filmography was beautiful. It was a
beautiful.
Beautifully shot film. I absolutely agree with that. So that kind of pushed it up to 2 for me. Was the beauty of it.
Hefe?
So as I said at the beginning of the discussion, there's really an intelligence at work here. And I think there's a lot more to the film than the simple gangster story that it appears to be. And it's an imperfect but fascinating early work by one of my all-time favorite directors. So I also give it 3.5. I'm on the same page as Marty.
I'm a little beyond you guys. I find this very singular. I find it extremely interesting for 67. I find it very future forward, especially for his second fucking movie. Some of those shots, he does things in this movie where he's like, well, can't do the same shot twice. And he figures out over and over again how to come up with a creative way to show the next thing. Just a tour de force of just brilliance and shots. I love the color of the film. I love the composition of the film. And again, this is a replay of Payback when I just watched it and went, this is so much fucking better than Mel Gibson's shitty ass Payback.
Well,
like,
obviously.
What the fuck am I watching? And so, 4 stars for me. I thought it was on that level of 4, going towards 5. Mm-hmm. It's easily one that you can point somebody at from the late 60s and say, if you want to see something that's kind of hard boiled and kind of edgy, watch that. You'll easily enjoy it. So, yeah.
Can I give a little postscript to this? Now,
no.
When I've already told this story, so I'll keep it short, because I told this story in Hope and Glory, when we did Hope and Glory, but there's a significance here. So as you may remember, I had the great good fortune to meet John Boorman. It was in 1992, and it was the release of his journal for filmmakers called Projections that he published. And so a special event was held, and I was in London at the time visiting family, and my mom, who knew my mom was very sharp. She knew that I was a huge John Boorman fan, and she showed me this thing in The Independent, which is a wonderful newspaper we used to read, great arts coverage. And there was a competition to win free tickets to this John Boorman event and get a signed copy of Projections. So there were 5 pairs of tickets that they were giving away. And I go, I don't care what it entails, I have to go to this thing. So I sent 3 separate entries, one from my mom, one from me, and one from my friend's name. I didn't even ask him. And all 3 of my entries won. So I then had 3 pairs of tickets that I had to get rid of. So I'm calling, my mom wasn't interested, calling all my friends. You got to come with me to this John Boorman thing. I've won all these tickets. So I did find good homes for all of them. But the point of the story is the screening was point blank. So I actually got to sit in the cinema with John Boorman and watch that movie.
Okay, that's cool.
Thanks.
Why don't you just leave, Jeff?
And of course, I went up and talked to him afterwards. And I talked to him about Excalibur and Hope and Glory. And he's a lovely, lovely, lovely man. Very gracious. A real, now Sir John Boorman, I understand.
Sir OBE, or is it, what is that?
That's Order of the British Empire.
Order of the British Empire?
I thought he was knighted, wasn't it?
Knighted? Okay. I don't know what do you have to be knighted? Is it an OBE?
Very well spoken.
King Arthur puts the sword on your shoulders and says,
do you have to kiss it?
No, that's more.
What happens if like a Lancelot, you're fucking French and you're like, mwah. Fucking, I love your sword, my king. Mwah.
You're just enforcing my point.
Are we ready to get into that? Okay.
Yes, we are. Let's get into it.
So, what is this one of the world's first superhero stories, Cliff? Of course, the origin story's got to be fucking weird. What is Excalibur?
Excalibur from 1981, rated PG. 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Well, you
Log
could get away
line.
with weird shit in PG back then, as we've discussed. So.
Merlin the Magician helps Arthur Pendragon unite the Britons around the Table of Camelot, even as dark forces conspire to tear it apart. This is directed by John Boorman, written by Thomas Mallory, Rospo Pallenberg, and John Boorman. Stars Nigel Terry, Helen Mirren, Nicholas Clay. Let me get you a storyline. Here it comes. The myth of King Arthur brought once again to the screen. Uther Pendragon is given the mythical sword Excalibur by the wizard Merlin. Somebody just did a big line. At his death, Uther buries the sword into a stone, and the next man that can pull it out will be King of England. Several years later, Arthur, Uther's bastard son, draws Excalibur and becomes king. Guided by Merlin, Arthur marries Guinevere and gathers the Knights of the Round Table. Arthur's evil half-sister Morgana sires a son with him who may prove to be his downfall.
And
I want to see that.
We'll throw the sword in the lake, and one day somebody worthy will come along, and you know what? Nobody ever did.
No.
There is no.
That's the very short version.
Yeah.
That's the G-rated version. Nobody ever came along.
Quite a King Arthur obsession in 1981. You know, we had Knight Riders, we had Dragon Slayer. There was a lot of this type of stuff then.
I have a bit.
Calm down. Whoa, okay. She's got a bit. Go.
I have a bit of trivia that I just discovered. So both films, Knight Riders and Excalibur, came out on the same day.
No way.
April 10th. I checked it and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Because I wanted to know which one came first when I saw that they were both from 1981. They both released on the same day.
That didn't happen. That didn't happen at all.
IMDb says it did. I looked. Wow, I checked separately because I looked at and GPT was like, "All yes." They both opened, and I was like, "Wait a minute."
One of my favorite things about this podcast is that we have infected her with that movie, where she's like, "I love this. This is one of my favorite movies of all time now."
Yes.
Knight Riders is like, she talks about it every time she comes on the show, and I love the fact she even brought it up with Excalibur. It's wonderful. It's great stuff.
That's what made me want to watch Excalibur again, was watching that one and loving loving that aspect, that perspective of the Arthur story. I freaking loved it, every bit of it. And yeah,
I agree, but I think strange women lying in ponds distributing swords is no basis for a system of government. Just because some walking cart throws a sword at you is not a reason to fucking call yourself king. I'm sorry.
Maybe we ought to try it.
Does this movie exist without Monty Python and the Holy Grail? I mean, it's just
is that what happened to the reflection pool? You know? Did Arthur walk through the reflection pool and drag his sword through it and cut the fucker up?
No, because there's no kings here.
Oh, that's right.
I was gonna save this for later, but now I guess now's the moment.
Why bother? Yeah, bring it.
I know this may sound like blasphemy.
No.
But numerous times watching Excalibur again this time, I was so reminded of Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Oh, of course.
And I actually burst out laughing several times.
Yeah.
You're just waiting for them to go, run away. And even when they're attacking the castle with the big wooden scaffolding, I go, oh, it looks just like the rabbit from Holy Grail.
Especially when they're trying to beat it down to get the king and to get Uther into the castle after a grain, it just looks like go away or I shall fart in your general direction. You know, it's
like we'll do that.
I shall taunt you a second time. You know, it's just ridiculous.
And the group scenes are all these people, and I'm just waiting for someone to go, burn her, burn the witch. And I'm sure it's unintentional. It's just, and at the time when it came out, it didn't seem silly. So this was made. Was Holy Grail 1978?
It was like 75.
Oh my gosh! I was
so 6 years before this, and I'll say this: Boorman did a real good job of avoiding that for the most part. I think Python is so iconic that it's hard to avoid some of the castle stuff, some of the knight stuff. But he did a really good job of making this ethereally eerie, wonderful tale of old England and its legends. And I think and again, I will say, if you go watch Point Blank and you watch Excalibur right after, you are going to see those green and blue tinges all throughout Excalibur. He started playing with in Point Blank, and then he perfected it in Excalibur by being this weird power of the land, power of the dragon, power of Excalibur hue. I fucking love it.
Well,
I don't know if you
and Emerald Forest. Emerald Forest has a similar thing, and was it Beyond Rangoon? Anyway, yes, I completely agree with you. He's got this strange, I don't know, is love of the landscape, right? The landscape, the environment is part of his films, big time in Deliverance.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, even in Hope and Glory, he turns the house and that whole area into an atmosphere. Jessica, you were going to say something.
Well, it was about the green glow. I don't know. I mean, the listeners won't see this, but I deliberately?
I do. Yeah, in the back of your monitors.
I have a green lamp so that specifically it was showing. Anyway, but yeah, what I really the first time I watched the movie, I noticed how awkward the knights are fighting in the armor, and I think that Boorman, he did a great job of depicting exactly how freaking hard it must have been to fight and crawl through the mud and swamps and all this stuff in this massive armor, and even though it probably was a lot, it was probably nowhere near the weight of actual armor. Right. And I just loved that. Like the battle scenes look clumsy and they look awkward because that's how it is.
That was one of my favorite choices in the movie, was to make it feel like that armor was heavy and it was real. And these people, it was protective for sure. These guys are banging on each other and hitting each other with everything. But at the same time, it's heavy and it's exhausting. Yeah. And you watch Lancelot later in that fight with Gawain where he's injured. And he rips his helmet off because he's having trouble breathing, and he's dragging that giant cudgel around with him. He's one-handed, just backing away from him, and it's just like you can feel the weight of the armor. I think Boorman's just the guy's a genius filmmaker. Yeah. I think this is probably Boorman's greatest movie. What
was your favorite headpiece? The Merlin or the Mordred full head mount?
I think Merlin's skull cap is so fucking iconic.
Right. Yes.
And I love Merlin in this movie in particular. He's the perfect mix of confidence and knowledge and legend and history, but also kind of foolish and sort of easy and can be fooled and has an ego, and his hubris is his downfall. Right? It's very Gandalf in a weird way.
All that stuff steals from this, right? I mean, even Star Wars steals from this. I have the higher ground, dark side, light side. I mean, for God's sake.
The Star Wars stuff in this is crazy.
Qui-Gon Jinn is in the movie.
Qui-Gon fucking Jinn is in this movie.
And not to mention Patrick Stewart, too.
Hey, I feel like Boorman's kind of working some shit out in this film, not to get weird, but like he's got his daughter having sex on film nude, and then he's got his son being killed. It's like, dude, maybe therapy. Just go to a therapist. You don't have to fucking work it out in our film. Like, just talk to somebody. It's okay. If you don't like your son, it's fine. And if you have something with your daughter, maybe just work that shit out. Like, you don't have to put it on film.
Well, that's what he's doing. He's working it out that way, and you can watch it and go, maybe I don't have to go to those extremes.
That's true. I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
You know what?
I'm totally kidding.
This also reminded me of, well, I should say Blade reminded me of this, because Blade has a fucked up origin story too. Like your mother got pregnant under weird circumstances, so you come out with special powers. And I'm thinking there would be no Marvel Cinematic Universe without King Arthur.
Oh, good point.
All goes back to that.
Yeah. No, that whole hero story in general is so intrinsic in most of the hero movies and myths that we get now. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
This one feels like a biopic. Like we're going to tell the story of King Arthur. We're going to do it in biopic style, where all the important beats of his life, and it's pretty interesting. But anyways, Jessica, go ahead.
Well, I loved the way it opens and that golden light and the flames, and it was just from the first opening, just beautiful, really gorgeous. Captivating. And then. I don't know. I really, well, let's get into the meat of of
the opening scene. So the opening scene of the movie is basically we're seeing Uther Pendragon fight for, he's trying to be the new king he's going to get the sword from Merlin, right? And he makes peace with this other warlord. And what does he do? He immediately sets about breaking the peace with his dick. That's the first thing he can think of to do is like, I'm sorry, I know there's peace, but my penis rules the land. Thank you very much. And, because he's got to have sex with this other dude's wife. That's just beyond it. And of course, then we get the magic scene where Merlin turns him into the other guy. And we get the sexy scene where Boorman's daughter's in there. Then we get Arthur from the weird tryst that happens.
But
right?
the dude was going to get killed anyway. You would have just moved in and you didn't have to do the rapey magic thing. All these people are assholes, man. These royals only care about their own personal issues. They don't care about the kingdom itself. It's about what's them, And where is this kingdom? We never see it. We see a few people out there.
Marty's over here digging ditches and fucking back in the old days going, fuck Camelot. This guy's an asshole.
Yeah,
fucking piece of
it would have
shit.
been better off if Uther just died, man. I mean, what about these other kingdom? Maybe they were probably had a better idea,
He's the guy who came up with the watery tart line back in the day. That was him. That's Marty.
we get to see the kingdom. We see the golden castle up there on the hill, and I'm just waiting for Terry Gilliam to say it's only a model. I heard that in my head when I saw it. Okay, this conversation could go so many ways.
It's going to go all the ways.
Okay,
go ahead.
Okay, first of all,
I'm loving this.
There is an intentional weird disconnect in the big picture of this film. So we know that Boorman based this on Thomas Mallory's Le Mort d'Arthur, The Death of Arthur, which is thought to have been written in
not the Once and Future King, which is written by T.B. White.
Secondarily by T.H. White, but mostly it's Mort d'Arthur.
It feels like there's some T.H. White in there, which is why I bring it up. But go ahead, Jeff. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
So Thomas Mallory's book took the Arthur myth, which was in the consciousness of the world already,
of England,
and he set it in the medieval era.
Yeah.
Now there's a lot of evidence that the Arthur myth is based on a real person, and that who would have lived probably in the 5th century, and the series of events likely takes place in the period of time when after the Roman Empire had pulled out of Britain and the Brits are being attacked by the Saxons and the Vikings, and that may have been the time when this British warlord, the legend began. So,
and the Saxons are the Germans, yeah. Or where are the Saxons from? I can't remember.
Well, yes, from continental,
like the German
continental
area. Okay.
Europe. Yeah, of course,
Gotcha.
Those countries didn't exist then. So we've got a lot of Arthurian films, and I'm only going to mention a few of them. But Knights of the Round Table, 1953 was one of the early ones. Sword in the Stone,
Fantastic.
Sword of Lancelot.
Fantastic.
Camelot, 1967, Lancelot du Lac, 1974, Monty Python and the Holy Grail, Excalibur, The Fisher King has really strong references.
Sword in the Stone by Disney.
First Night, Kid in King Arthur's Court, Quest for Camelot, A Night in Camelot, on and on and on. There are loads and loads of them. And almost all of them are set in the wrong time period. They're set in the medieval era. Not in the 400s or 500s, or when these events, the root events, likely occurred. So this is one of the things that I find so fascinating. I think it's really important about the film. When it starts, the first thing you see is the Dark Ages, which is when the Arthur myth stories would have happened, the actual events upon which the myth is based.
Right.
But then it's very obviously not in the Dark Ages because they didn't have armor like that in the Dark Ages. So really, it's the Shiny Ages.
Anything before 1980 is the Dark Ages, bro. Come on.
Wow.
Come on. anything before 1900 is the Dark Ages. I mean, we all know that, right? No, I hear what you're saying.
So I think he's doing this really on purpose to tell us that he's doing well, I was going to say fictionalized. That's absurd.
Is he bringing Arthur a little bit forward into the future and making it a little more future forward for us to enjoy? Or
but he's setting it in the correct time period. He says very clearly the Dark Ages, which the other films don't do. They don't bother to do that. But then he immediately starts showing things that didn't exist in the Dark Ages, like this very sophisticated armor and the armored horses. And I think that's part of the point, that he is telling us that this is going to be intentionally fantastical. And he's based it on a book that's already fantastical and largely made up by Mallory. So it's doubly made up. And yet he takes some of the very central tropes or imagery that we have for the Arthurian stories, and he stands them on their head. So typically, Guinevere is portrayed as the tall, blonde, willowy, glamorous one, and Morgane or Morgana or Morgan Le Fay, which has been used many different names in many different stories, is typically the dark, more petite, mysterious woman. So those are reversed. So we've got beautiful, elegant Helen Mirren in the Morgan role, and then I can't get over the metal bathing cap. I don't like it. That's one of the things I don't like about the film.
Stop it.
But when kids or many people think Merlin, what do you think of? That silly the big pointy hat with the moon and stars on it. So he completely slams that down into a flat metal plate on Merlin's head, which I find very clever.
And he's not an ancient man with a 3-foot beard. He's
right.
He's
a
middle-aged guy.
He's a vital guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and but he doesn't age. Like, he's still the same age when Arthur's old. Or although I guess he was in prison for a while, so he wasn't really. But still, timeless. Kind of. He's timeless.
I have to say that the effect that this film had on kids my age. I was 8 when this movie came out. And I probably saw it in '83, right around the time I saw things like maybe Crawl.
That's another one, yeah,
and some other stuff where I got very deeply into Dungeons and Dragons, right? And so this was a real fountain of inspiration for Dungeons and Dragons, knights and all this type of thing. And
even Mazes and Monsters rips this off.
Even Mazes and Monsters rips this off, but it's so creepy. You get into the later stuff where they're searching for the Grail, and it's a lot more. It begins to become a metaphorical journey through the last third of the film, where it's steeped in metaphor about Christ and about the search and about seeking yourself and seeking something higher, and the search for the Grail and
yet the old magic is still around too. I find
and yet the old magic is still around, and he ties all that together so well. He really, really does. It's really good. It's funny. Like at the beginning, he does the whole he has Merlin Rumpelstiltskin Uther's daughter, right? Like he's like, yeah, I'll make you look like what's his name, so you can have sex with her, but I get the kid. That's very Rumpelstiltskin.
Good point.
Yeah.
And so there's weird kind of other things thrown into this myth from even other legends and other things that are going on. I felt.
I also got a sense throughout the film that the magic is not in Merlin's control. Like, things happen that he doesn't even expect to happen.
It's nature magic. It's not spell magic. It's nature magic, right? Like but it's not the Force. It's different, but it's like calling on something else to do your bidding, not casting a spell, right? Like you're not casting Fireball, 3rd level fucking D&D spell. You're calling on the forces of nature and other things that are much more powerful than you to do your bidding.
But if the king is doing well, then the land does well. And it's like, they say, well,
all that's
the will
tied
of the
together.
Force. And people go, well, that's bad writing. I'm like, well, it's just the King Arthur mythos.
Right. So he talks about the dragon. Merlin talks about the dragon.
Ooh, I got something for that later.
And he talks about how it's the land. It's in, the dragon is in the rocks. It's in the wind. It's everywhere. It's the Force, like he said, yeah. And that plays into, if you go further back in the film, when Uther has the sword,
Yes.
And he's dying, and he's like, no one else will have the sword. Merlin didn't expect that. He wasn't expecting. He didn't do that. Uther did that. Uther's power. Uther was part of the land. He had the magic of the land. That's, even though he was an asshole.
Yes, but no more than he expected Arthur to find Guinevere and Lancelot entwined together and then bury the sword into the earth, which is what gives Morgana the opportunity to learn the charm of making and begin her fucking reign of terror, right?
With her, just be happy for them.
With Charlie Boorman's evil fucking Charlie Boorman as a kid had one of the most evil fucking laughs on film ever. It is so fucking creepy as shit. Jesus Christ.
The armor and the mask. His armor and mask were creepy. That is the creepiest armor I've ever seen. Like,
it's so well done. All the armor in this film is so well done. To the armor or the armor master, you should have gotten an Oscar. It's superb fucking work. And I think it's honestly the bar against which I measure every other film's armor. How good is it against Excalibur? Because Excalibur had the dirty fighting armor, the shiny wedding armor, the Camelot armor, all this different armor. You know, Percival's armor is all fucked up, 10 years into his quest for the Grail, right? And just beautifully, beautifully done costuming. I can't believe it didn't win an Oscar for costuming, man. I seriously can't. It was really well done.
And we should mention that we love Charlie Boorman on this podcast, and we've talked about him before. So he plays, as a child actor, plays the young Mordred. He was the boy in the Emerald Forest who gets lost. He's the German pilot in Hope and Glory. And then, of course, Charlie Boorman went on to become an amazing adventure television host with his buddy Ewan McGregor when they went around the world on motorcycles.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
For Long Way Round and its sequels. And I find him a fascinating person.
So he was in a movie with Liam Neeson, and then years later, he's with
Obi-Wan Kenobi doing fucking television shows.
Bizarre, isn't it?
What in the fuck?
And that was almost right at the beginning of Liam Neeson's career. It was one of his first.
This is the greatest episode ever.
Well, we're enjoying it.
So,
sorry, Jeff. Keep going, Jeff.
Just that Liam Neeson, Gabriel Byrne, and Patrick Stewart, they were all right at the beginning of their careers, right at the beginning, and they all became enormous stars.
Gabriel Byrne.
Great casting.
It's a great cast.
Boorman specifically chose Ireland, and he chose Irish actors like Kieran. What was his last name? Was his first.
Kieran Hanna.
Yes. That was his first film. All of the
Kieran Hines.
Yeah, Hines.
He plays Lot. He's fantastic.
All of them are Irish.
Mm-hmm.
So
here's the other thing I'll say.
It's like Space Truckers.
Nowadays, if this movie comes out now, I don't know if you've seen the absolute vitriol for Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey that's coming out online. Like, people are fucking losing their minds about it's not historically accurate because they cast Matt Damon and not some Greek dude, and there's a black girl in it, and there's no black girls in Greece, and it's fucking ridiculous, right?
Oh, bullshit.
But this movie, if this movie had come out, it would be nothing but bitching about the non-English accents and the non-English actors playing classically English roles,
right?
And everybody would have to explain that King Arthur is a fucking myth and is not real.
Right.
And he does it as a myth. It's also very dreamlike. Again,
yes, very dreamlike.
One of his films that the whole thing could be a dream. And even Plex's little capsule review note about it, I'm sure you've noticed, says a surreal adaptation of Thomas Mallory's book.
And it feels like a fever dream, especially from the point that Arthur cast the sword between the character Guinevere and
Lancelot.
Mm-hmm. From that point on, it is like fever dream territory. It gets weirder.
It's like being sick. It's
it's so bizarre, and it's like, what's going on here?
It's like you're sick with the land or something. It's weird.
And the land is sick because that's exactly what happens. And
you all got these Zardoz, man. That's just
Merlin was pierced by the sword at the same time. Merlin, when he cast it into the land, he stabbed Merlin too. Mm-hmm. He participated in Merlin's destruction to some degree without even knowing it, because he broke the broke the land. He
He's
broke
an
his
asshole,
connection
just like
to
his
the
dad.
land.
Yeah.
And there's
Broke his
Boorman
connection.
focusing on the landscape again, as
Yeah.
we talked about earlier. The landscape, the heart of the land, the spirit of the land is very central to this film.
The British are shockingly good at lawn care and maintenance. I don't know what it is, but they are gardening fools.
It's
They
all
are
the sheep.
They are all about like transforming, or that island is theirs, and they take good care of it.
They didn't do any watering. The hills all dried out.
No, it's all pretty. I'm just saying, that's pretty.
Oh, that was Carol O'Connor's line.
That's clever. It's the rain, Cliff. It just rains all the time. If you don't keep cutting things down, they just take over, and it becomes Day of the Triffids.
It makes. Oh my god. Dear Diary, my foster dad and brother are dragging me to another one of these god awful tournaments. So they can have a go at pull some sword out of something rock. It won't budge. I don't know. I'd rather stay at home and plow the milkmaid's fields, if you know what I mean. But instead, we're a day out from the tourney. Oh no, I've forgotten Kay's sword at home. Shit. I'll figure something else later. Talk to you later, Arthur.
Anyway, I think we should. We should.
Haven't done one of those in a while.
Very, very good. I think we should compliment Nigel Terry's performance, because he goes from this goofy country bumpkin kind of like, oh, gee, I wouldn't give you 25 cents for a broken meteorite.
Here, I couldn't find your sword, Kay, but here's Excalibur. Get the fuck, kid. Fuck off. Yeah, it's very, yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
And by the end, he's this world-weary, soul-destroyed ruler of a country that's dying.
Yeah.
It's a great performance. You can at the end, you can't even see the kid in him. It's such a transformation.
He tells his own son, I can't give you the land, but I can give you my love. And his son's like, that's the fucking last thing I want from you, you piece of shit. Let's do this.
That young
fantastic. It's wonderful.
And isn't the whole film also like that?
Mm-hmm.
And I think I think it was intentional. And if it was, it's a masterwork. Because the film is almost silly at the beginning, and with these overblown characters like Patrick Stewart,
it's hopeful. It's hopeful. It's fantastical. It's fairy tale.
Well, it goes from light into this total despair. Like the whole last part of the movie is just about death, destruction, wasting away.
It's a true Grimm's fairy tale, right?
Yeah.
Where like the wolf eats grandma. Like no shit, like this. The Excalibur. It's like, here's the reality of it, guys. This is rough. It's not pretty. It's not going to be the wonderful fairy tale, because eventually Guinevere and Lancelot and Arthur, they have to resolve their shit, and when they do, here's the fallout from
like chasing Amy.
So for most of the film, basically from the point of the Grail, the search for the Holy Grail, I'm like, why are they looking for the Grail? What does this have to do with anything? And finally, after you go through all of these fever dreams and all of the knights dying off or becoming corrupted, and Percival goes and he walks into a castle of Camelot. It's Camelot, but it's in his dream. He's having this vision or whatever, and he's asked, "What's the secret of the Grail?" And he tells him, "Well, it's Arthur. You, the king. You're the secret. It's you're connected
the land.
to the land." And then so he goes and gets the Grail from Arthur, and then he goes and gives Arthur the Grail in reality. And I was like, "What the hell does this mean?" And I finally understand. It's the same theme through the whole thing. The king is the land. The king is the land. The king is the land.
Yes.
The land, and when the king fails the land,
the land fails.
Dies.
And that's why when Darth Vader dies, his ship blows up.
And it was
he's got an escape pod.
I fucking love this episode. Oh my god! So listen, early on when Arthur meets Merlin and they're talking about his future, and Merlin kind of disappears, and he's looking for Merlin, and he sees the centipedes, and then he sees the fucking owl and all that shit. That's just Yoda and Dagobah. Oh yeah, that is so fucking just straight up Yoda and Dagobah.
Slimy, mudhole, slimy. My home this is.
You will go fuck yourself.
Cannot get his ship out. Cannot get his sword out of the stone.
Yes, Watery Tart gave him a sword, did she? It's the fucking.
difficult the future is to see.
Well, it's funny that you. It's funny because for me, Nicole Williamson sounds almost Kermit-like in his tones, like almost Muppet-like, and or very Grailish in character.
So we should remake this with Muppets, is what you're saying?
Fucking please. Jesus Christ, I'd watch the shit out of that. Are you kidding me?
Let's do it.
The mounting scenes we may have to go, but everything else we can totally do. It'll be fine.
I loved all of the Merlin scenes so much. I just to me, he was awesome.
I'm glad you brought up the voice because on this viewing, I mean, I've seen this film many times over the years, and Clif, you and I have talked about this in depth, and also how a film sees to change as you get older.
Over the years,
a good film, you'll read it in different ways. So I'm watching it, and I didn't quite finish this. I'll come back to this. The idea of it being kind of light and silly and getting more and more serious as it goes, and it really pulls you in. And I'm at the beginning earlier I'm going, oh yeah, the Uther scene's a bit slow, and Patrick Stewart's overacting a bit. And by the end, I'm absolutely mesmerized.
You watch your fucking mouth. What are you talking about? I can't sit here and listen to slander on my podcast. What are you talking about?
Well, worse is to come. Check this out.
Oh my God!
I'm watching, and I go, what does Nicole Williamson remind me of? Who does he remind me of? And it's Johnny Rotten.
Oh shit! That's a good call.
They've both got that kind of slightly whiny. I really know what's going on behind the scenes, and you don't.
I think Rotten's a little too far over, but I can see what you mean. I can see
one of the young ones,
similarity,
right?
There's a young ones type of feel. Yes. I like that.
Instead of the stars, he's got the silver cap.
Yeah, instead of the studs on his forehead.
This has my favorite. One of my favorite MST callbacks of all time is in this film. It references this film, and it is Joel gives the bots the opportunity to create their own theme song, and Tom Servo does the whole opera bit. I can't remember what's the name of the song. But it's
the song,
Yeah, wonderful Tom, glorious Tom, bigger than you, bigger than me. That whole fucking, which it's iconic. That opera piece in that film is so iconic, and it's been reused so many times and borrowed from Excalibur so many times. I mean, Boorman's got to kind of be patting himself on the back with the music guy going, man, we fucking look at that, nailed that shit, and we look at everybody using our stuff.
It's funny.
I'm glad you said that, because that's one of
it's referenced over and over again, man.
It's one of my notes is that those big action scenes with the horses and the music, very reminiscent of the first Conan film and Basil Polidor's beautiful score.
That's a good call too. That's a good call too.
Very similar. And Conan came out a year after. So I wonder, John
maybe it was a little influence.
It could be. And John Milius, another one of my favorite directors. But and it could have just been coincidental, but it's just so powerful when you see the charge and the motion and that really those powerful voices. It's very percussive. And speaking of, I know we're really jumping around, but think about towards the end when the knights prepare for the final battle and they gallop out of Camelot to go confront Mordred. Those scenes where the horses are galloping through, first it's a field of violets, and then it's yellow buttercups.
And then the willows.
Cherry blossoms. It's cherry blossoms.
My bad. Cherry blossoms.
So there's that is not only my favorite shot in Excalibur, it's one of my favorite shots of all time. That there's a camera in front of Arthur, and you're seeing all the horses galloping behind him, and these cherry blossoms are falling on him. Oh yeah,
it's steady.
It's an
shot's
amazing shot.
Steady. It's the only steady shot on him in that whole sequence. It's very Spike Lee. If you've ever seen Spike Lee put an actor on the palette and then drag.
Well, Jean Cocteau invented that.
I didn't know that. Okay,
that's fantastic. The original Beauty and the Beast. He does that, and it's mind blowing. it's, I mean, talk about magical. That's, to me, it's the ultimate magical scene. So on one hand, I feel like the cherry blossoms falling on them are tears, because the land knows they're going to die. The land is crying.
That's beautiful,
because they're going to the final battle. But also, I think the land is showing them what they're losing. We know that you're going to your doom, and this is our final goodbye. This is a reminder of what the living world is like.
Normally, when that stuff happens, it's spring.
Yeah.
Because cherry blossoms fall in spring. And spring is about hope and eternity and renewal. And so I wonder if maybe it's about, hey, you're going to your death, but there's hope and there's renewal and there's a future in your death and in your...
Yeah, because we'll all be better off without y'all.
You're going to give up your lives for something bigger than yourself, right? Which is, you one of the great lines that I've heard lately is that having a legacy is about planting a garden you're never going to see grow, right? You plant the garden and then you do your thing and then you move on and then it sprouts and it grows for other people, right? That's a legacy, right? And I think that's what Arthur's doing, is trying to create a legacy, planting things that grow beyond him for eternity, right? And so this idea that the blossoms are following and that it's spring and that he's coming to give himself up to the land and for spring I think is a cool idea.
I think some of the ending of that is also...
he's definitely Jesus.
It's also it's more of the T.H. White influence, the once and future king, because most of it is more to Arthur, but there are bits of things. There are certain twists.
He's borrowed, hasn't he? He's pulled a few things over.
He pulls a little bit over, and the fact that Arthur makes Percival put the sword back because it will be needed again, and he's like,
that's good.
But it's like that. There's gonna
not that I disagree with your take, Jeff. I just think it's another option. It's fascinating.
And
I love this movie because you can interpret it so many different ways.
And you hit on I think a very important theme, Cliff, which is rebirth, the cycle, because we know that the Arthur myth is that he's buried on the Isle of Avalon and he's meant to return in England's hour of greatest need. Personally, I think he came back as Churchill. But
fascinating. That's a good call.
Thanks.
That's the real Excalibur too.
Yeah. Right. Oh, it's great. It was the cigar. That was Excalibur. Burned through anybody.
May I digress a bit here? Maybe this is a good point. I don't know if you will know this about me, but to say that I am a fan of the Arthurian legends would be a massive understatement. So it really used to be my hobby, but when I'm in my 20s and 30s, and I have read everything that I could find, from Mallory, Mists of Avalon, Sword at Sunset by Rosemary Sutcliffe, all the fiction of Once and Future King, but also many, many non-fiction books that look at the possible historic origins. And I'm not exaggerating when I say I believe I've been to every Arthurian site in the United Kingdom of any significance at all, starting at St. Agil in Cornwall, where the early scenes are supposed to take place, and all the way through to the Isle of Avalon, which is in popular tradition believed to be a hill in Glastonbury, where the Glastonbury Music Festival takes place every year. So many, 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 many sites. A lot of them are in Wales, in Scotland, and there's a fascinating hill fort in southern England called Cadbury, which was a fortified hilltop, and it's just in the woods. There's no gift shop, there's no admission. If you can find it, you can go up there, and that is often thought to be the most likely place for the fortress of a real Britain, a real Romano-Celtic or Romano-British king from that era. Right. But the main reason I mention this is I've made all these pilgrimages. Some of these places I've been to many times, but of everything that I've seen and everywhere that I went, which is really a lot, my favorite and the most amazing place was where local tradition has it that Excalibur was thrown. And it is a small lake in the moors called Dosmary Pool. And the first time I went there, I was the only person there. It's quite a trek to get out there. And it was a grey misty day, and the lake looked like it was made out of silver. And I just completely believed it. I thought, if somebody was going to if Percival's going to throw Excalibur into a place where nobody's ever going to find it, this is the place. It was an amazing experience. So that's one of the reasons that this film means so much to me, because of my love of the myths and my love of Boorman's work, and the fact that he's, again, intentionally doing something other than the narrative. He tells us right at the beginning that he's setting it in the correct time period, and then he doesn't.
Right. Yeah, it's a good point. I love the imagery of the film. I think the imagery is fantastic. I think he has set so many bars and so many iconic images in this film that everybody else has to compare anything that they do to it. To a certain extent, like you're either going to completely throw away that aesthetic, or you're going to try to adhere to it to a certain extent. Like, well, either we look like that or we don't. I don't know. To me, it's the total bar for it.
Oh, well said.
I love how going back to turning everything on its head. Just even the fact of the Queen Igraine. The way she dances, she's dancing.
Yes.
She's dancing like a woman of the night.
Now you know, well, but now you know how she got her king, right? Like that's now you know, because he's fucking like, oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like she's not acting like a queen. You would particularly identify as a queenly behavior, but maybe in the time period of the 5th century, maybe women were more primal,
completely possible, absolutely
more primal and more, because it was more everything was. I don't know.
Well, it's not like you were going to vote or have a bank account, so you better use whatever you had to entice a man and to keep him and to fucking bend him to your will to a certain extent. You know what I mean? And to the point where literally she dances so well, she causes 2 fucking nations to break peace and fight each other. Right. That's how good that dance was.
Well,
where one dude's like, I don't give a shit. I know peace, but my boner. Let's go.
That was the problem. Was the boner, not the dance.
Yeah.
Right,
I mean, at one point, there's a point where fucking where Guinevere runs up to Arthur and is like, "Here, eat this cake. It's got stuff." He's like, "What is it?" She's like, "Oh, grains and blah blah blah. It'll make you a little sleepy." And then he's like, I don't know. And he has this conversation with Merlin.
Which is one of my favorite conversations.
Yes. And then Merlin's like, well, you never know till the cake's gone. And fucking, he's already just wolfed it. And Merlin's like, well, too late. That's Arthur. That's the lesson right there in and of itself. And that's the power of the woman. He's literally showing Arthur, like, if you don't, be careful. The cake, the thing. Too late. Fucking see it.
It happened to me, actually. That exact thing happened to me. I when I was still living in New York, I went to a Burning Man party in Williamsburg, and these lovely tray of hot brownies had just come out of the oven. I go, oh, those look good. I'll have one of those. And I just finished it, and the guy runs in and he goes, whatever you do, don't eat more than half a brownie. I'm not kidding. I was so stoned, I just lay on the floor for hours, and they had to put me in a cab and send me home at some point in the morning. I mean, people shouldn't make cake like that.
Arthur is such a contradiction because, later on he's all, I have to be the king even above the husband, and it's like, yeah, but back in the day you were scarfing the fucking brownie, you didn't care about the kingdom, you cared about the dick. Which is it, man? Which is it? But the young King Arthur, he's like Percival back then, and then he gets kind of fucked up, but Percival never gets corrupted though.
He gets the experience. Yeah.
Seven Holy Grail, funnily enough. Michael Palin.
Hey, Mr. Boorman, what design do you want on Percival's shield? Mr. Boorman, what design do you want on Percival's shield? Cubert. I'm sorry, what now? You heard me. Fucking Cubert.
Cubert wasn't even out for
what's figure it out. Cubert. Sorry, every time I watch Gawain and Lancelot fight, I see that design on the shield, which is the 3-dimensional, and it's Cubert. It's just fucking Cubert.
Oh,
and every time I'm like, oh, it's Cubert.
Not the
look
character.
At that. Yeah.
Okay.
No. The design on his shield. It's the board. It's the Cubert board.
I'd always
totally
fall off
just
the back.
the 3-dimension. Yeah. I will say one of my favorite bits of the movie is Lancelot fighting himself, where he's
Yes.
nude and he's fighting his fully armored self.
Mhm.
It has a very Eastern Promises feel. I don't know if you've ever seen Eastern Promises with Viggo, but Viggo he's a Russian mobster, and he's in a Russian bath where he gets into a knife fight with another Russian mobster, and they're both naked. So it's just blades and dicks flashing around everywhere in blood.
And flying off the balcony. No, that was the other
Exactly. And this Lancelot kind of reminds me a bit of that. But I do love the imagery of Lancelot fighting with himself, fighting with his love for, it's obviously his love for Guinevere, his loyalty to his king. It's all right there.
He was in the cave, and then he said it's Luke's face under the mask.
He's naked and bare in front of himself. You know, it's fantastic.
Marty's just not giving up on the Star Wars references. It's just not going to happen.
They stole too much from it. Yeah.
Mentioning fucking, Star Wars is 78. I mean, that's all I can say.
Well,
and
King
by the way,
Arthur
it's not
story,
that they stole. It's the hero's journey from Campbell. That's this whole thing. The mythology of the hero's journey from Campbell. That's what Boorman picked up on. That's what fucking Lucas picked up on, and that's what everybody's been doing for the last 40 years.
Is that Clif Campbell that wrote the hero's journey?
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, you're goddamn right. It is. Kidding me?
So
look it up, guys. It's on Amazon.
Oh, I've read the whole thing. No, it's Joseph Campbell. I know exactly what you're talking about. Have you ever seen the interviews with him that were done at Skywalker Ranch, where he talks about the origins of mythology? He has clips from Star Wars in it.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I gotta look that up. Thanks.
It's I think it was a PBS. I think maybe it was a PBS thing. But it's cool. I think it's called The Power of Myth, and it's a long series of interviews with Joseph Campbell later in his life, and he's so articulate and mesmerizing. It's utterly fascinating. And he talks about the hero's journey, and then he shows clips from Star Wars. It's exactly what you're talking about.
That's on archive.
It's on DVD, right on. I think. Yeah.
You're fucked when the king is in church and is suddenly struck by lightning. You're fucked. You are fucked like nobody's business. Mm-hmm. You are in church asking for forgiveness, and suddenly you are struck by fucking lightning. Good luck.
That'd probably be a good time to abdicate.
You think?
I'm done with this. I quit.
Yeah. Maybe ask for forgiveness. I don't know. What do I know?
Well, I don't know. He lost the plot. Arthur lost the plot for a while. He lost his connection to the land. He lost, and it almost kills him when he puts the sword in between the two lovers.
I love how this movie is also kind of about the future, right? Where it's like, hey, I'm old. I'm of the land. My time is done. It's, you're next. You're up. What are you going to do? You're going to fucking kill each other? You're going to keep going? Here's the thing. And, there's this movie's just full of fucking Boorman. Again, just like Point Blank, Boorman's just burying metaphors in this motherfucker throughout the whole film. Here's this metaphor. What are you going to do about that? Here's this metaphor. Here's something to think about. Here's something else to think about. Here's the Jesus myth. Here's this. Here's that. It's so well done.
Well said.
It's so well done. It's just, I think it's his masterpiece. I think Hope and Glory, if I was to talk to John Boorman, I'd say, I'm willing to bet that Hope and Glory is probably your most personal film, but I'm willing to bet that your masterpiece is probably Excalibur. The film that you think is probably the best thing you've done is probably Excalibur.
I think Hope and Glory is the best one. Yeah. But
I think Excalibur nails so many of the myths, so many of the imageries, and is borrowed from throughout the next 50 fucking years that it's hard to ignore. It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
That's a really good insight. I'm not as aware as you are of all those references. I think Conan was Conan. Yeah,
Conan's a great call too.
Yeah, one of the ones that really stood out to me is perhaps being influenced by it.
This influenced every sword and sorcery movie that came after for 20 fucking years, man. You couldn't make a D&D sword and sorcery Deathstalker type ass movie unless you mentioned or referenced some of this shit in your film. It's impossible.
Oh yeah, between this and Conan, there wouldn't be Lady Hawk and all that other stuff.
No Beastmaster, none of that shit. None of it.
No cave dwellers.
Fuck.
I've got a question for the panel, and it is this: you could say, "Oh yes, it reminded me of a John Ford Western," and everybody would know what you're talking about. But you can't say, oh, it reminds me of a John Boorman XYZ film, because his films are all so different. They're so different. I mean, how different is Excalibur from the Emerald Forest? How different is Deliverance from Hope and Glory?
I agree, but I think the thing is, I think your premise falls apart with the fact that fucking Excalibur has been referenced so many times by so many other filmmakers that you can easily look at other films and go, it's like Excalibur. It references Excalibur. Oh, look at it. There's some Excalibur.
Oh, definitely. No, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
With a single film.
Yeah.
And I would say maybe
the
same.
I'm sorry, you're talking about it as like a whole.
I just mean,
okay. My bad.
You can't describe his style in a couple of words.
He's like Spielberg, dude. He molds himself to fit the form of the vessel that he needs to deliver.
Yeah.
It's a jar, I'll fit in the jar. It's a bowl, I'll fit in the bowl. It's a box, I'll fit in the box.
Well, Spielberg likes to do love triangle movies too.
He still does it his form and way.
Human nature, I think.
Well, yeah. I'm talking about a director's stamp. That's one of the things they like to tell the story over and over.
Boorman has this different way every time of doing a story. He lets he serves the story rather than serving himself, which is, I think, what Jeff is after, right? Like, if you watch a Coen Brothers movie, you can tell it's a Coen Brothers movie.
Well, there's trademarks,
the tone and so on. There's trademarks, right?
And that's why I say the love triangle is the trademark for him.
Boorman's a little harder to pin down, I think, because he's serving the film and the script and the story every time. That's my opinion.
You would have never told. I could have never believed that all of these movies were made by the same person. I've seen Robin and Marion, and would have. Just no, I wouldn't have believed that they were.
Other than saying that's a cool green tinge that runs through two movies, there's no fucking way that Point Blank and Excalibur really have a lot to do with each other.
Hey, I'm trying to tell you.
Why are we talking about when I got the email for Excalibur? I was like, "What's this Point Blank thing?" And I've never heard of it. And then I was like, "Oh, it's a Boorman film, okay." And but. Still,
I've tried really hard to answer my own question. What is the theme that connects all Boorman films? And I think we touched on earlier. I don't think there's an obvious one. I'd say the best that I can do is most of his films are about putting a person or persons into a strange environment and landscape, and how that landscape changes them. So Deliverance turns businessmen into killers is a perfect example. Hope and Glory.
The sword turns the farm boy into a king. Yeah, okay. Hope and Glory.
So
the war turns the boy into a man, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, exactly.
I can see that.
And Emerald Forest also. The boy is changed from a modern first world kid to a forest dweller. He's completely
You've mentioned
changed.
that movie multiple times. Is that the next movie you want to bring on the show? Is something
Emerald Forest?
Yeah.
Possibly. Possibly. Oh, that's an interesting idea. I wouldn't have thought about that. But I'll consider that. Thank you.
Oh, Meg Foster. Interesting. Okay, sure. So anyway.
There's a great bit in the Emerald Forest where they discover that the people who are searching for their lost son, who is Charlie Boorman, again,
yes, it is
the wonderful Charlie Boorman.
It's on the poster of that movie.
They encounter the indigenous people in the forest, and they learn that the indigenous people call first world humans, modern humans, the termite people, because they destroy the forest. That makes sense. One of the bits that sticks
termite
with me.
People.
Hey, have any of you seen Where the Heart Is, which is the film he made after Hope and Glory?
No.
So very early Uma Thurman film. It's got Christopher Plummer in it. That is another film where people are put in a strange environment and there are mystical, magical things in it. It's his Frank Capra movie. It's quite a light comedy.
Okay, Where the Heart Is.
Yeah, Where the Heart Is, 1990. 3 years after.
So not the Natalie Portman, Ashley Judd movie.
I have seen that one.
No, thank you.
That's about the kid. They have she gives birth inside of a Walmart or something, right?
Yes, and she's hiding in the walls of the Walmart.
No, she's not hiding in the walls. It's a rom-com. She gives birth in the Walmart, and that's the whole impetus.
Oh, I thought there was one where she was hiding in the Walmart.
That sounds like a horror
Something
movie.
else? Okay, where the heart is. Yeah, I see it. Okay, wealthy businessman shows his young adult offspring how tough life can be. Written by Telsh Boorman and John Boorman.
Well, that's the
starring
theme.
fucking Dabney Coleman, dude. We may have to bring this on the show.
That's the theme. I'm going to tell the young generation how hard life is.
There it is. That's what Boorman's doing. You fuckers think you had it hard. Look at how bad King Arthur had it hard, you sons of bitches.
How bad Walker.
Mud and armor and a fucking magician, and you sons of bitches are microwaving Hot Pockets. Shut the fuck up.
I want my $2.
I want my $2. All right, let's get to the score. Anybody got any notes?
Well, I got a few last things here.
I figured.
Well, I don't want to talk over everybody. Carmina Burana, is that how you say it? That track with
Yeah.
I'll always remember that from the Doors movie because Oliver Stone does gratuitous use of that. They even put it on the soundtrack of that album. Neil Jordan is listed as like creative associate or something in this. This is really early credit for him because he would go on to direct like Interview with a Vampire and stuff like that, right?
I'm not relentlessly familiar with Neil Jordan's work.
The Crying Game. Right, but I noticed his name in the credits. I'm like, oh, that's a very early credit for him. And as you mentioned, Mystery Science Theater, I'm sitting here going, where is Santa Claus in all this? Well, the events of that Mexican Santa Claus movie must happen many years later because Merlin is in the Santa Claus movie.
Oh my God.
And at one point, Santa Claus is because he helps Santa Claus out. And at one point, Santa's yelling, Merlin, Merlin, and he sounds like fucking King Arthur. It's really funny. So I'm thinking that must be the unofficial sequel. So
Marty, you're the absolute king of the most obscure connection and reference that anyone could ever find to a film. It's really impressive.
No shit.
Oh, hey, I've got a fun thing. I know that listeners at home won't be able to see this, but I'm just going to hold up a thing to show you here.
We can put a picture in the show notes. He's
great.
got a lobby. He's got an Excalibur lobby card.
Yeah.
Look at that.
This is an original, and it's the beginning of my favorite scene there, where the knights are zooming out for the final battle. So yeah, I can I do a scan of that and send it to you if you like.
That last scene where Arthur basically impales himself on his son's spear and then walks forward.
That was hardcore.
To cut his own child down is some hard ass shit.
That's the first scene I saw flipping through channels at like age 9.
Oh no!
And going, what is this? No, I was just like, is this a horror movie? What's going on here?
I don't think I ever saw a version like that. I don't know. I was shocked. I was not expecting that scene in. I said out loud, I was like, that's some hard shit right there.
It's a flesh wound. Yeah.
I don't want to ruin it for you.
And he's pulling hard to get down there.
He's going to get to that kid and kill him one way or the other. Go ahead, Jeff.
I don't want to ruin it for you, but there's a terrible continuity error right there. So
why?
Okay,
why?
I won't say it. I won't tell you.
What is it? No, it's too late now. The listeners need to know what the continuity is.
So Arthur's impaled on that giant spear, and he's obviously dying. And then it cuts to a close of him and Mordred, and then it goes back to the original scene, and the giant spear is no longer in his body.
I noticed that the spear was gone. I just assumed that they pulled it out.
But there's nobody else there. Everyone else is dead. And that's worth mentioning too, that this film really turns into a bloodbath at the end. From the very hopeful beginning.
Right.
Or fun. I mean, fun. It seems like a kind of a family fun adventure movie to some degree in the early parts.
There's nothing family fun about this at all. This thing is pure fucking dread, terror, and death all the way through it. And by the way, here's some titties to sustain you along the way. This fucking movie is awesomely insane as far as just like, hey, here's what the folly of man can possibly do when he believes in some crazy magical bullshit with some dude wearing a fucking skull cap. Have fun.
Right. They had two versions. They had the PG version, which had all of that stuff cut out. So yeah, maybe that would be misleadingly fun and family oriented. But then version,
Marty's version that's 90 minutes fucking long. Sure,
well, that's that PG version, but it's like 2 hours and 20. It's amazing what you could put in a PG. This wouldn't even have been a PG-13 a few years later. It's so gory. But I guess it's fantasy violence, so you can get away with it. It's not somebody's head getting chopped off.
So 2 things I have before we get out of here. One, I want to say the jousting is better in A Knight's Tale. It just is. It's more impactful. It's more fucking fantastical. But I will say probably the jousting in Excalibur is probably more realistic.
More realistic, yeah.
Especially as far as like a contest where you're trying to find a king of the hill, right?
Yeah.
And then secondly,
Bobby?
Lancelot from Across the Sea is the name of Lance. I am Lancelot from Across the Sea. So he's French?
I believe in some versions, yes. Lancelot du Lac of the Lake. Lancelot of the Lake.
Why would you ever trust a Frenchman around your wife? You know better. Never, ever trust a Frenchman.
You
ever.
second-hand
Never,
electric
ever.
donkey
You
bottom
fucking-
bears.
Yes, exactly. Go away, I shall taunt you a second time. I fart in your general direction. Where's your queen wife so that I may talk to her?
Animal food trough water. Oh, of the water. Lancelot of the animal food trough water.
Of the water.
Now it all comes together for me.
But one other thing I want to say is during the wedding, when the veil she is wearing is magnificent.
Yeah.
I know it's a very tiny bit, but when it seems like almost chainmail and she raises it.
Yeah.
And it's soft and like silk, but hard like steel. And it's this beautiful, beautiful veil. I just thought, and I've been thinking that every time I watch this movie over and over again, that veil's fucking dope.
And that goes with the magical feeling, because everything early is magnificent and extra shiny and beautiful and perfect and illuminates.
Yes.
Like
fairy
in
tale.
some,
It's all a fairy tale. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think
it's like the castle is like made out of silver.
Exactly. This shining silver beam upon a hill. By the way, do we all know why it's a round table?
Because everyone was supposed to have an equal say.
Everyone's an equal. Yeah, everyone's on the same.
There you go. Everybody sits at the table. It's round. Everybody has an equal moment. There's no head of the table, no end of the table, no side of the table. We're all the same and equal here at this.
And you have to speak the truth when you're sitting at the table.
And you have to speak the same truth when you're sitting at the table. Thank you, Sir Gawain, you fucking moron, for setting this whole thing off. You dumb shit.
And there was round table pizza.
And it was good because all the slices were equal, right?
I think listeners should know that earlier today Clif sent us a wonderful email which said, "So we're having a round table about the round table." Was it you, Marty?
That was Marty.
I'm so sorry. Yeah. I got everything mixed up with all the email traffic today.
Part of our primer it says we'll have a round table discussion, and I'm like, oh shit, we really are today.
Round table.
Sorry,
Marty.
Marty.
Round table. I'm not that clever.
I didn't mean to Merlin you there.
Marvin.
Let's do the scores at this point. We're 2 hours in. I think. Does anybody else have anything else they want to talk about?
Every time I come on the show, it's 2 hours. I'm so sorry.
It's a blast. It's a blast. I have a lot to say, man.
Well, so does Jessica.
But score it. Let's go, Marty. What do you think?
4.
Nice, Jessica.
4.
Jeff?
I think this is the second greatest Arthurian film of all time after Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and I also give it a 4.
It's a 5.
Well done.
You guys are all wrong. It's a 5. There is no other Arthurian film that matches this, comes even fucking close, not even close for a moment. If you want to watch a movie about King Arthur, put this fucking movie on.
It's a 5 amongst all of the King Arthur themed ish.
No, it's just a 5 in general.
Even that Martin Lawrence one?
Yeah, the armor, the imagery, the filming, the metaphors, the whole theme of the film, 5 stars.
I'm sorry, Knight Riders is up there.
I'll tell you what. No, it is not even fucking close, Jessica. What are you talking about?
I don't know. It's just.
I'll tell you what. I'll go 4.5 just to give it some wiggle room. Okay, 4.5.
Oh, I was just going to say how much I loved it that you guys had both given 5 stars to Boorman films in different podcasts.
Right.
Hope and Glory is genius.
Yeah, it is
but
genius.
Excalibur rides right up there on top. Just fucking amazing. Although I do think Boorman was working some shit out. He's over there going, all right, my daughter's going to take her top off, and my bastard son who's trying to kill everybody, I'm going to put him in it too. We'll work this shit out on film. Let's do it.
And in the next one, we're going to drop him in the middle of the Amazon.
Exactly. And then he's going to have to go make his own money by traveling around the fucking world with his Obi-Wan Kenobi friend. Fuck that guy.
It's still no Confederate. What was it? What is the? I can't even think of the title about the Connecticut Yankee and King Arthur's Court.
Connecticut Yankee.
Yeah, it's certainly not that film. So, but what is?
This is true.
Unidentified Flying Oddball. What about that one?
Oh,
you forgot about that one, didn't you?
Does everybody ready to get out of here? You got a quote?
Oh, you got anything you want to plug?
Oh, that's a good call. Biscuit, got anything you want to plug?
No, but I have a quote, but I'll wait till the end.
Perfect. Ooh, Jeff, you got anything you want to plug, buddy?
Yeah, I got a few things. Thank you for the opportunity. I very recently completely redid my personal website, or rather, I had an expert web designer do it. That's jeffnotkin.com. And I'm working on a new book. I'm not ready to say what it's about yet, but I will tell you that 2 days ago, I was writing all about the dream that I had, where I sat up in bed in the middle of the night and went, oh my God, Beating of the Rain should be the opening music to Love Song of William H. Shaw, which is a true story. And I have a new business, as you guys know, called Notkin Rock and Fossil Company. And a website coming soon at rockandfossil.org. And finally,
Rockin' Notkin, is that what it's called? Rockin' Notkin and Fossils?
Yeah, very, very close. And finally, I would like to mention that I accidentally became president of an international paleontology association called AAPS. And we have also just unveiled a new website, which is aaps.net. And the purpose of the association is education, supporting paleontology students, and championing the rights of people to collect fossils on their own land. So if you're interested in things even older than the Arthurian legend, you may like aaps.net. Thank you for the opportunity.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah, where do dinosaurs fit into the King Arthur mythos? The dragons.
That's bro. What it is. Come on, man. Yeah, dragons. Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah, we're just doing our thing. Tune in next week for, what is it, Streets of Fire and Last Stop at Yuma County or whatever.
God, I hope so.
Something like that. So
we need to talk about Streets of Fire for 2 fucking years. All right, let's get out of here on a quote. Marty, what do you got?
I was not born to live a man's life, but to be the stuff of future memory.
Jessica.
Anal natak orthves tebetod tokel diemve.
That was almost mine.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Jeff?
I forgot that we were supposed to have a quote. I'm just going to
You've been on this show like 9 times.
I don't think we did quotes before. Isn't this a new thing?
Relatively.
Every time. We've done quotes every time.
Gosh, sorry. Well, I will say that I appreciated Jessica's, and I did love the way Helen Mirren, when she did incantations, it was in this kind of harsh Celtic voice. My quote is Cash is king. Forget about Arthur. Cash is king.
Okay. I'm going to take Jeff's quote and do my own quote. So my quote is, you have broken what could not be broken. Hope is broken.
Against
and now my second quote is Cavalier. Sorry.
My other one is against you.
Okay, how about look into the eyes of the dragon and despair?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
That's good.
All right, let's get out of here before we stop. Just keep talking. Thanks everybody. Thanks everyone so much. It was a great episode. I really appreciate it.
Is this the longest one we've done?
Literally the longest one, Jeff. We'll
have to check.
I'm going to be bitching the entire time I edit this thing.
Sorry.
We're going to be laughing.
I told you I spent a lot of time preparing for this episode. It's going to be long.
Totally fine.
No, you're all amazing. Love you guys. Thank you so much for having us on again. What a fantastic group. Be good or be bad, but be sure.
That's right. And if you can't be good at it. All right. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye now.
Don't miss an episode. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, and keep listening to the show on the app of your choice. Do it now.